We'll start at 4:35. Okay, we'll wait for others to join.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'm dealing with rural communication. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Can anybody define what is rural communication? As the name suggests, rural communication. Anyone, Nikhil? Just in your language, what do you understand by rural communication?
Ma'am, rural communication means like exchanging information and ideas among individuals and communities in rural areas.
Yeah, simple communicating to the rural audiences, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Communication is nothing but
Information.
okay. So yeah. So today in this class we will be talking about the role of community radio in rural development. Okay.
Yes,
So first have a look on what do you understand by community radio. So have you heard about community radio? What is community radio? Yes, what is community radio?
ma'am, community radio is a type of radio service that is owned, operated, and driven by community itself.
Yeah. Community radio is the radio which is owned and managed by the community itself.
Itself.
So how do you define community? What is community?
Farmers community, fishermen community.
Yeah.
Farmers community, fishermen community.
Community means people with similar or common goal or interest, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They form a community. As you said, fisherman community, farmers, right? Women is also a
Women
community. Women comes
Yes,
under community.
Yes.
So in simple words, we can say that community radio is a social process or event in which members of the community associate together, right? Why they associate together? To design programs and then to produce and air the content, right?
Yes.
So, and if we talk about the definition of community radio, here community radio station can be defined as one that is operated. This is very important. Community radio can be defined as one that is operated in the community, for the community, about the community, and by the community. It's like democracy, definition of democracy, right? Of the people, for the people, by the people. Likewise, we have community that is
Good evening,
operated.
madam.
Good evening. So it can be defined as one, the radio that is operated in the community, for the community, about the community, and by the community. So here, community radio is considered as an alternative, or we can say an effective mass media tool for the rural and disadvantaged population, right? What do you mean by disadvantaged population?
Who are not in an advantageous position like the people living in rural, sorry, urban areas.
Illiterature is
Those who don't have any access to mainstream media, also we can say, right?
illiterature, madam.
Uh, I'm talking about the access in terms of means, right? The technology. So all these people, they can, all this disadvantaged population, they can express their thoughts in their own voice and in their own style. What do you mean by own voice and own style? Own voice and own style.
Local content.
Voice in the sense, people, they can speak themselves, right? They can come and speak on their issues related to them, and their own style, in the sense their own local language. So here, besides solving social problems as well as entertaining local people, this community radio also acts as an intermediary between the government and the local masses. Intermediary means
Madam, page number, madam.
it acts as an agent. And so I'm not going to unit wise. I'm just going to important topics. Okay.
Okay, madam. Okay.
Yeah. So here they can act as an intermediary between the government and the local masses. Intermediary means agent.
The bridge between the government and the individual.
How you can say that they act as a bridge?
And they bring information, like they make people aware about the policies and schemes of various policies and schemes of the government to the people.
Yeah. And also they see to it that people have understood or not, and also they can collect feedback and provide it to the government, right? Through survey, research, feedback, right? So this is the place from where, community radio is the place from where local people can air their grievances to the government, as well as they can get the solutions to their problems. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
The concept of community radio.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's have a look at the history of the community radio. In India, the advent of community radio can be traced back to the mid 1990s. In February 1995, Supreme Court made a judgment that said airwaves are public property. So following that judgment, the advent of community radio can be traced back. And again in 1996, if you go in chronological order, there was a NGO based out of Bangalore named as Voices. It was a development communication NGO. So they organized a gathering of community radio stakeholders. Then again, a declaration calling was established. All these stakeholders met and they call for the establishment of a, there were two types of broadcasting. So they demanded for a third tier of broadcasting, that is the community broadcasting. And the bill was also signed in the same year, 1996. Then again, calls were also made for grant of licenses to NGOs and other non-profit groups to run community radio stations. So at this time, UNESCO provided, portable production sets. I mean, small radio station, community radio stations to this NGO voices to do experimental broadcasting and also to get hands-on experience in setting up this, independently run a community radio station. So these three sets were distributed in Karnataka. And in early 2003, the government of India released the first set of community radio guidelines where, it restricted the eligibility to only educational institutions to run the community radio. So again on 1st February 2004,
कॉलेजेस में चलता ना मैडम कॉलेजेस में they will be run in community
earlier only colleges, educational institutions were allowed to run. So Anna FM was launched in India.
use madam formals also use
Yeah,
formal
now
segment
we use, but earlier it was restricted to only educational institutions. So Anna University was the first university on 1st February 2004 to launch India's first campus community radio station. And it was run by the students of Anna University. Okay. Okay. So by that time, the marginalized and voiceless community also, they remained outside of the community radio. I mean, the government didn't provide them accessibility or permission to run or launch the radio stations in the communities. Then again, after passing several bills on 16 November 2006, the government implemented new community radio guidelines where it permitted NGOs, educational institutions, and agricultural institutions to own and operate these community radio stations. So the first community-based radio station license to an NGO was launched on 15th October, right? You all know, by Deccan Development Society in Pastapur village. That is Sangam Radio. So as of now, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has listed 251 operational community radio stations in India in different parts of the country. So now let's know about the effectiveness of how community radio is and why it is more preferable to the people of the communities. See, firstly, if we talk about community radio, it is in local dialect, right? Local dialect of the people. I told you, people in villages
radio in Medak madam
scattered.
Sangareddy
Yeah, in Medak. See, people in districts, I mean in villages, they are spread into different communities, right? And each community have their own dialect. So people vary in terms of their own language. Here, the next one is illiteracy, because here illiteracy is not the barrier. Somebody who doesn't know how to read or write can easily listen, and also they can understand the message that are played in the community radio station as it is their own dialect of the people. And also the accessibility is cheaper. You have to buy a separate and also people can access in their own community. People who are who reside in their own communities can access this portable medium. What do you mean by portable medium?
It is handy. It can be carried along with people wherever they go.
You're going fields. Yeah, easy to carry, right? Whether you're going into fields or during traveling and while working at home, you can easily listen to the radio. And one more thing is, it is more catering towards the community issues. I mean, more catering in the sense that somebody from the community can relate to the issue of the people. People can easily relate to the issue. They are talking about their own issues, the issues of the community. And also it talks about the solutions and the problems of the local community. See, and we all have seen how the radio has played a very important role during the time of emergencies, right? So here also community radio plays a very important role for the communities to solve their own problems. So now let's know who all can own the community radio stations, right? Who all can own? Earlier, I told you it was restricted to only agricultural institutions and educational institutions, right? Now, who all can own? Any idea?
Ma'am, any institutional owners like school, colleges, persons can also,
And
and
NGOs,
university purpose.
NGOs, educational institutions,
NGOs,
civil societies, and voluntary organizations.
agricultural,
Yeah, NGOs come under voluntary organizations. Then government institutions, right? Then you have
Health
Krishi
workers
Vigyan.
also, ma'am,
That is the-
for awareness of campaigns. Campaign.
No. I mean, who can own? Who can own? Which organizations?
and Krishi and Kendras.
Yeah, NGOs,
IITs
voluntary
also, ma'am.
organizations, government. I told you, right? No,
Government institutions.
state agricultural universities, youth, yeah, like Acharya um, University, Agricultural University we have, right? Then all the organizations which are registered as societies, not autonomous bodies, registered under census and voluntary organization, are given the benefit of the people, the community. Okay. The allocation of funds. What are the issues faced by community radio? See, lack of funds allotment by the government in the form of advertisements, right? How do we generate revenue? Revenue through
Advertisements.
ads. Right? This is also a major hindrance towards the growth of community radio because government usually they don't provide any ads or funds for the functioning of community radio. People in the community they manage themselves. They contribute and they manage. Then another is training professionals. See, people with professional education and knowledge are not available for the functioning of the community radio station, right? Because in rural areas, community people, they are not that, educated, right? To manage the functioning of the radio. So there are lack of people to train them, professionals, right? Here, the government support plays a very important role, and thus the long process of getting a license and complicated process of uh, getting clearance from various ministries and also big hurdles for starting a radio community radio station in some of the areas in these days, in rural areas. Then these are the challenges. And next challenge would be the adoption of latest technology, right? Upgrading and adoption to the latest broadcasting techniques, the new ICTs tools, right? How is it a challenge? Why do you think it is a challenge? Adoption of latest technology is a challenge.
Because it is expensive.
Yes, because of
Its cost.
the penetration of internet, right? The penetration of internet is the first thing. How is the penetration of internet? Very low in rural areas. I'm talking about the remote rural areas. So therefore, it becomes very difficult, right, to adopt to the latest broadcasting techniques, which is required for the functioning of radio stations. And also access also plays an important role. Okay. Is it clear what is community radio?
Yes, ma'am.
Community radio is the radio which is owned and managed by the community. It is for the people, community people, to discuss their issues and grievances, right, to the community, and also it acts as a bridge between the government and the community to make their voices heard. So now let's discuss a case study of Sangam Radio. If you have this as a case study in your textbook, Sangam Radio. Okay, so Sangam Community Radio, Stapur village, Zahirabad, Medak district in the state of Telangana. It was erstwhile Andhra. So the community radius in India, 10 kilometers away, and was established under the Deccan to farmers, to the poor landless, Dalit population. Yeah, is it broadcasting or narrowcasting? Community radio.
Narrowcasting, ma'am.
Very good, narrowcasting. Why narrowcasting?
Because it is limited to a particular community.
Yeah, it is restricted to a particular geographical entity, right? So this community radio station, Sangam Community Radio Station, was started narrowcasting in the year 1999, and then recordings were made on tape, for limited audiences at a place, because they didn't have any physical studio kind of a thing that time, right? It was the first community radio station. So what they did, they gathered the audiences at a place where the community can gather, right? So with UNESCO's interference and help, again on 15th October 2008, following the judgment of Supreme Court, what I discussed, the judgment. What was the judgment? You remember? The judgment of Supreme Court stating that airwaves are public property, right? That means, what do you mean by airwaves are public property? What do you understand by that? Airwaves. What are airwaves? And what do you mean by airwaves are public property? Anybody? It's very simple. See, Supreme Court of India, tell me.
And it means like the frequencies used for radio, television, and other like wireless communication. It is considered public resources that belongs to people collectively.
Yeah, that means the airways or frequency are public property. That means their use has to be controlled and regulated by
No,
whom?
All India Radio.
No, it has to be controlled by regulated by authority in the interest of public, right? That means
Yes.
earlier it was under the control of government, but later after the Supreme Court judgment, it was said that airwaves belongs to public. Public property in the sense public owns. It's for the benefit of the public. So after the judgment, the community radio station were permitted, right? So following this judgment, UNESCO intervened, right? And this judgment was given by Justice P.B. Sawant. So after this judgment, accordingly, the government of India has given permission to community radio station, right? So here around 75 villages are covered under Sangam community radio station. What do you mean by 75 villages are covered?
It's a rural areas.
The reach
Madam.
and frequency, yeah, of this particular Sangam radio can reach up to 75 villages. You know, whether they operate or not is another case, but the reach and frequency, people can access in 75 villages. The Sangam community radio can be accessed in 75 surrounding villages. And it is broadcast or narrowcast in Telugu language. So right now there are more than 3,000 active women, because this community radio, Sangam community radio station is run by women community. Okay. So there are around, more than now 3,000 active women members in this Sangam community radio. And how I told you, right? There is no proper allocation of funds by the government. So what they do is they contribute ₹5 per head. So imagine 3,000 plus women contributing ₹5 per head to meet the expenditure of this radio station. Okay, this is how they manage the expenses. And here the broadcast, the programs are broadcast between 7 to 9 p.m. because this is the time where people will be free, right? People will be coming back, farmers will be coming back from their hectic, schedule. This is the time where people will relax and they have their dinner. It's a family time, right? So at this particular point of time, they broadcast their programs. So this Sangam community radio station is run by Dalit women farmers. Okay? Not only women farmers. So, and the broadcast is prepared with their local dialect or slang. In their local language. So right now, about 2,000 from the date of conception to till now, about 2,000 songs which were sung by the members of the community were collected with, with their own music also. What do you mean by collected with their own music? It means 2,000 songs were sung by the members, by the women, community members. They didn't air the songs, right? Any film songs or movie songs or commercial. It was sung by the members of their own community. So, Deccan Development Society, which is an NGO, it supports Sangam community radio station financially for its functioning. So, certain programs which are broadcast by this Sangam community radio station includes, I told you songs, right? Then farming practices, because this is run by women farmers. So they focus more on farming practices, then general observation of festivals, then they also give health tips, birthday wishes, etc. Okay. So the Sangam community radio station, they also review people's problems which affect their agricultural crops, agricultural issues like livestock, then food production. What are the other issues? Seeds, and how to manage the crops. All these things are dealt. All the solutions to all problems are discussed. And then they broadcast in their own language, Telugu, and it is in their own dialect, which is unique to that particular region. That particular village. So the Sangam radio makes an effort to reflect the lives and cultural identity of the people who are residing in that particular area. So it acts as one of the ideal platforms to address problems and also the concerns of the people of that particular region. So this particular community radio station, Sangam Radio, it also allows members to express themselves through participation in the programs. People of the community can participate in the programming. They can create content. Okay, they can come and talk. They can sing. Okay, music. They can give music. So this the community members feel this Sangam Radio as their pride. because this was the first community station, and what is unique about this community radio station is that it is run by women community, right? Women farmers community. So a Sangam community radio station creates awareness and provides important information which is beneficial to the community, to their own community. And here, these broadcasters who are supporting the community radio, what they do is they collect information in the villages by meeting different people in the community. I told you about the 75 villages, right, where they are operating. So they meet different people from the 75 villages. They discuss the issues. Okay, they sit and talk with them, and what they do is they record their observations on various issues of the village which they face, the common issues which they are facing. And they also collect the information from elders about their experiences regarding uh, farming practices and other related issues, right? And also to know age-old traditions, customs, which were existing during the weddings, festivals, and while working on the fields. People share their experiences. They become nostalgic elders, right? They share their experiences. And again, the listeners, the other community members are also given opportunity to call. Call in the sense they can make a phone call, or they can directly come to the radio station to share their views with the people. For example, see issues like, for example, if there is a missing cattle is reported and traced with the help of listeners. If somebody has lost their cattle, they can come to the community radio station. They can announce, and people, what they do is cattle owners will express their gratitude once they have found their cattle back with the help of listeners. So all small and petty issues can also be dealt in community radio. So if we talk about the program content of this particular community radio, Sangam Radio, here the content includes interviews, one-on-one interview they have discussions, right? Discussions on various topics related to farming practices like organic farming and other related stuff. Then I told you songs, right? Songs sung in their own language, okay? And details of agriculture, health issues, all these things are discussed. It forms the program content of the radio. So, mostly 80% of women and Dalits participate in the Sangam community radio station. And also here, elders, they have encouraged the community members for active participation. Why 80% of women participation is there? Because the family head from each family, they actively support the active participation of women members to run the community radio. So likewise, this Sangam community radio station is unique in the entire country because it has its own financial stability. People not only the support from UNESCO or from the government or from Deccan Development Society. As I told you, the women participants, those who are part of the community radio, they also, equally contribute for the management of the community radio. And also the 75 villages which come under this Sangam radio, they are always, on par with other villages. They discuss, they come, and they are also encouraged to visit the Sangam community radio stations to take part in various programs. Not only people from this Pastapur village, but the surrounding 75 villages also come and participate in the program. The program content creation, right? So clear? So
Yes,
this is
madam.
about Sangam Radio, okay, which is the first community radio station in India managed by women farmers, Dalit farmers.
Farmers. Madam,
Okay.
first
And we can see
Sangam Radio in Chennai, Madras, madam.
it's
Madras.
in Andhra Pradesh, it's in Telangana.
Oh, okay. Telangana.
Okay. We should feel pride because it's in Telangana, the first community radio station. Clear? What is community
Madam,
radio?
first semester also in you're telling, madam, Sangam Radio.
Yeah. So you can give it as a case study, right? In your exam, if they ask about community radio, you can discuss about
Sangam Radio.
Sangam radio and other community radios also, which you are interested.
Education.
Okay. So clear? Any doubts? Understood the concept of community radio?
Yes, madam. Madam, which unit, madam?
I'm not sure. I'm just going by the topics, important topics.
Okay, madam.
You
Madam,
have
next
to textbook.
class you will be preparing a PPT, any kit, any PPT, madam?
Right? You require any PPT? Others? Okay, so what is rural development? So far, we have been discussing about rural communication, right? Community development. Yes, Nafisa, what is rural development? What do you understand by rural development?
Good evening, madam. I was busy, that's why I did not interact with the class. Rural development means the development which covers all the rural areas regarding health issues or school education policy or some government policies also included, some industries which are
Yeah.
situated at rural area. So the
Mhm.
development of that particular field, like small scale to larger scales of industries also come under the category of development of rural area.
Yeah, very good. So it means just improving the quality, all these improves the quality of life of the rural population, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. As you said, to improve the infrastructure of the rural areas. Then also, what are the issues? As we discussed in offline classes, what are the issues faced by rural people?
So many
Basically,
types of, so many,
poverty,
yes,
unemployment,
Health.
education, health,
infrastructure,
infrastructure, health also,
education,
madam.
yeah, and proper I mean healthcare facilities,
Employment.
connectivity, poor connectivity, and all this comes
Activities
under
also,
infrastructure.
and government schemes also.
Yeah, to overcome all these challenges faced by the rural communities, by improving the quality of life of the rural population and by improving the infrastructure of the rural areas, and how to overcome the challenges, I told you, right? To reduce unemployment by providing opportunities for employment. Okay. Then basic facilities is to provide clean drinking water, right?
Roads.
Education, free education,
Education facilities first. Then what are the other basic things? Electricity,
Roads.
transportation, roads, yeah, connectivity,
health.
yeah, and of course poverty. Poverty can be tackled through providing, reducing unemployment, right?
Yes.
Providing education and so
Health
all
also. Health
are
also.
parameters. Yeah, healthcare, sanitation. So rural development implies both the economic betterment of people as well as social transformation. So what do you mean by social transformation? It is very important. Social transformation. What is social?
Madam, social transport facility, madam, geographically and what you can say for transporting from one place to another place, they should be
Social
proper way.
transformation.
Mm,
Transformation. Total
transformation.
transformation. Yeah.
Nazi also tell.
Social transformation. What is transformation?
They
Social
can name
transformation.
the social status and legal uh, support
Madam,
and equality of
social
society.
transformation means changes in religion or their culture or any other, madam. Social
Systematic change in
transformation.
society, madam.
That means changes or it requires a shift in the, I mean, consciousness. Consciousness in the sense the way they think, not religion or other things. The way people think. Social transformation. Transformation is change, right? Shift. Social is a collective effort, collective consciousness of a society. That means the way people think and behave. I told you in the last classes, right? How is the thinking of thought process of rural people there, rural society? So not only the economic betterment of people, but social transformation. That is a shift in the collective consciousness of a society. That means the way people think, accept, right? How they face their problems.
Social
Is it clear?
civilization.
Yeah, you can say that. That means restructuring all aspects of their life, right? As you said, from culture or the way they maintain their social relations, the way they think, the way they live. All this can be termed as social transformation. So, how can we achieve social transformation in rural community? How can we make them shift? How can we, make
good
make
education
them
and
change
good
their thinking? Good.
एजुकेशन और हेल्थ देने से एजुकेशन और हेल्थ देने से वो लोग अपने आप में खुद इम्प्रूव हो सकते हैं ना मैडम.
Yes, by creating awareness.
हम्म.
So here comes in the role of rural communicator to create awareness, to help people in restructuring their aspects of life, right? In the process of change, right? The communicator can step in and in order to make the society change, to bring innovations, right? So, and what are the other things apart from this economic and social transformation? What are the other things required for development in rural areas? What are the elements? Uplifting of what?
Adopting technology also another source.
Yes. How do we do that? But as we discussed, people doesn't have any access there. Access to new means of technology, adoption to new technology is low.
अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम्स के वजह से वो लोग को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं ना मैडम.
Government should take that implement.
What is your question, ma'am? I missed some points.
About the concept of rural development.
पेज नंबर मैडम.
She's already told, ma'am. Content wise only.
Okay, madam. Continue, madam.
So you are explaining or you are questioning about that concepts, ma'am?
I'm asking you the concept of rural development.
So what are the concepts around which we can go for development? Like that you are asking.
Yes.
Previously, I answered, I think so, that point.
That was different. This is what are the key factors? Amjad, you were on the
Yes,
you
madam.
told awareness, right?
Yes, madam.
What kind of awareness?
Government schemes, education and health.
See, investment should be made first, right? Somebody
Yes,
told government should step in here, right?
Ma'am, I already mentioned about that point. Now I'll give some more exaggeration. Infrastructure improvement should be
madam.
there.
No, I have
Infrastructure related to roads, electricity development, irrigation facility, communication system also has to be improved. Regarding agricultural development also, by adopting modern techniques.
So beyond meeting these basic needs, investments have to be based. I mean, it must be linked to the productivity and income. I mean, whatever Amjad said, you have to create awareness. But how? As Nafisa said, we lack basic facilities. So we have to create opportunities to overcome challenges. We have to first meet the basic needs. So beyond meeting these basic needs, we need investments. Investments from the
उन लोगों को
bureaucrats.
समझाना पड़ता मैडम। रूरल जो 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 गांव में रहते हैं ना, वो लोग को पहले हर चीज के बारे में एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ता है। उन लोग ये चीज करने से वो लोग जल्दी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते ना मैडम। कोई चीज टेक्नोलॉजी भी जल्दी एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते। कोई चीज अगर कोई एक्सेप्ट करे तो करते, नहीं तो नहीं करते। और जब तक वो लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, अपन उनसे कुछ भी वो नहीं कर सकते ना मैडम।
First, you have to create proper opportunities, right?
Yes, madam.
It
Exactly.
may not be equal, but at least proportional to the same as in urban areas. Where because first you have to stop the mass migration of people, coming to urban areas. First, you have to stop that migration. So, individuals residing in rural areas, they will be able to get a ground level of income options. First, you have to provide all these facilities. What do you mean by mass migration of people from rural areas to urban areas, and why? In search of
के वो लोग जल्दी, उनके
opportunity.
दिमाग में कुछ भी जल्दी नहीं जाता ना मैडम। वो लोग के दिमाग में मारने पे लड़ने पे
Ma'am, you are asking about mass migration of
People from shifting of people from rural areas to urban areas. Why people are migrating? I told you that's we all know. We all know the reason why they are migrating. But how do we stop it? By overcoming these challenges, right?
By providing basic needs, madam.
Only basic
By
needs.
providing
employment
basic
also,
needs
madam. Creating an employment for
and no,
and
not
employment
only
also be the
employment.
reason they want to adopt the modernization. That's why also they will prefer to migrate from one place to another in order to face the difficulties in
मैं बोल दिया
basic
मैडम, पहले ही
facilities
बोल
also.
दिया।
Social transformation plays a very important role. So this can be achieved to providing proper training, right? Human resource development. You understand, right? What is human resource development? Providing
madam.
proper training and skills to people in order to achieve the social transformation which we were talking about. Is it clear? Training.
Okay, madam.
Proper training and
madam.
Skill development programs.
Yeah, skill development programs. Research in rural areas.
What are the drawbacks and lack of development things we can research. Then according to that, we can develop the skill development programs. We can adopt, incorporate skill development programs so that migration will be maximum mitigate.
Have to take the help of opinion leaders for this, right? Because there is a system of Panchayat Raj introduced in rural in the concept of rural development. Panchayat Raj, they are also opinion leaders, right? They can influence the decision-making policy of rural people, rural areas. So what are the some of the schemes? You are aware of schemes which are provided by the government for rural development? Any schemes? Any
Raitu
scheme?
Bandhu, Dalita Bandhu, Amma
Yeah.
Vadi,
Tell
and
one
What
KG,
is not correct answer?
KG to PG.
Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana.
Yes, Mudra loan and
Let's talk
Chakravati.
about any one scheme and elaborate, Amjad.
Madam, Mudra loan is a given to opportunity in a small scale level, madam. It's a given to some the business loans.
Elaborate any one of the scheme for available for rural development.
Food for work, madam. ఆహార అడికి ఆహార పథకం.
Yeah, elaborate.
Madam,
Why it is meant? What are the benefits?
Minimum support is there for 150 days, I think so. Per year, fixed income they will get. Rural people will get fixed income.
Mhm. Is it really
madam,
been implemented?
Implementing, madam. Yes, in rural areas, so many people are benefiting in the scheme.
People are benefiting, but only in terms of numbers on papers.
That means that is
Different issue, but
differences of employees only. But scheme is good.
madam, 90
For
days
work is
work, madam, 90 days work they given to work. वो लोग काम करो ना करो वो लोग को पैसे देते मैडम लेबर्स को.
Corona, that is wrong. They are paying because they are recording. They are
नहीं
paying because they are recording.
పని లేని వాళ్ళ కోసం కూడా డబ్బులు ఇస్తున్నారు కదా.
That is ethics of that employee, sir. If I use the employee organizing, that is intentional manufacturing only. But scheme is good. That is very. I am really practical I say.
ఇంకొకటి కూడా ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కంప్లీట్ అయిన వాళ్ళకి కూడా మనీ ఇస్తున్నారు కదా, అది కూడా రీసెంట్లీ ఇప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేశారు కదా.
Amjad, that's not a rural development scheme. That's for those person who are illiterate, but they don't have any employment. So they are depositing their certificate through online, and they are scanning that document and uploading the document. On that basis, they are getting around 2,000 to 3,000 per month. So only for the survive process purpose, not for that rural development.
No, it's a uneducated unemployment peoples.
Ma'am, can we elaborate that schemes? You are asking about any one of the scheme.
elaborate any one scheme which has
Nowadays
been
we are having Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Development Act.
Madam,
According to that,
recently central government launched a new scheme for the rural areas people.
Gruha
That
Jyoti.
the program is PM Vishwakarma.
Mhm.
Through that program, central government provided the employment for the people who are living in rural areas. PM Vishwakarma.
Okay.
ma'am, one more is there, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana, something like that. That will ensure power supply to rural areas, which involve for rural electrification, distribution of networks area, for the people who are living very far in the rural area, they will get the electricity distribution among all. So according to this scheme, the power supply will be benefited. One more is Pradhan Mantri Yojana. That it involves the connectivity of road, providing
Sadak
all
Yojana, Gramina Sadak Yojana.
Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, PMGSY. So it related
Yes.
to rural infrastructure, which improves the markets, healthcare, and education. So in the rural areas only they will issue this type of schemes.
Madam, Grameen Sadak Yojana is only for roads work, madam, no other development work.
Yes, there is also one kind of development, no? That is the
No,
scheme.
sir.
One
No,
of the
sir.
scheme that is
Mahatma Gandhi
also.
National Rural Employment. That's a scheme for everything, for infrastructure, for farming,
Of course,
and
this is also
for
one of the scheme.
everything.
That's okay, sir. Sadak Yojana is only for roads, I think.
No,
Madam,
Of course,
actually,
what it will be, that is one of the scheme.
MGNR.
What I'm saying,
Dalita Bandhu and Raitu Bandhu is given to only rural peoples, and they will use in a below poverty peoples. And Gorilla recently.
there is all schemes. That is different. It is different. Madam intention is how to restrict the migration of rural people to urban areas. So you have to think in that angle. Our topic is like this is not how to mitigate, restrict the migration. Madam intention is like that. She is asking that question.
How
No,
to
How
stop
can we
మేడం
mice?
elaborate?
మైగ్రేషన్ గురించి అడుగుతలేదు మేడం, మైగ్రేషన్ గురించి అడుగుతలే కదా అక్కడ, మైగ్రేషన్
I
గురించి
was talking
అడుగుతలేదు.
about migration only. Then we have deviated from the topic. How to
Migration.
stop mass migration of rural people to urban areas?
Yes, exactly.
Job employments and study and health facilities.
Talking about training and skill, right? So from
Exactly.
there we came to schemes. I was asking about schemes related to training and skill development.
Exact. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Does government provide any training for skill or development? Is there any scheme in education? Scheme for research? Any?
Both central and state government conducting skill development programs to the rural educated, uneducated people, madam.
Exactly.
Educated
Provide
youth, madam.
maybe
Employment training to
where
youth.
they provide best organic farming practices, skills and training to farmers.
Organ from
Organic
agriculture.
farming. Yeah, agriculture related.
వ్యవసాయ యాంత్రికీకరణ అంటున్నారు కదా మేడం, అదొకటి చేస్తున్నారు మేడం. 70% పీపుల్ రూరల్లో ఉన్నది వ్యవసాయదారులే కాబట్టి వాళ్ళ ఇన్కమ్ పెంచడం కోసం వ్యవసాయ యాంత్రికీకరణ ఒకటి, డ్రిప్ ఇరిగేషన్ ఒకటి, స్ప్రింక్లర్ ఇరిగేషన్ ఒకటి, 90% to 50% అంటే డిపెండింగ్ ఆన్ ది కమ్యూనిటీ. ఎస్సీ అయితే 90% సబ్సిడీ, అదర్ దాన్ ఫార్మర్స్ 5 acres బిలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకైతే 70% సబ్సిడీ, ఇది ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తున్నాయి మేడం. హార్టికల్చర్ స్కీమ్స్ డెవలప్మెంట్ కూడా అది అంటే రైతులకే ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది మేడం. అది అయితే ఎక్కువ మంది రైతులే ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి దాన్ని కూడా వ్యవసాయ ఇన్కమ్ పెంచాలి అన్నది షిఫ్ట్ కూడా, మైగ్రేషన్ కూడా ఎక్కువ మంది వ్యవసాయ అనుబంధం మీద డిపెండ్ అయిన వాళ్ళే సిటీలకు వస్తున్నారు మేడం జనరల్ గా. దాన్ని తగ్గించాలన్నది సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఏం మేడం. అయితే మీరు అన్నట్టు పేపర్ మీద వర్క్ జరుగుతుంది అంటే మనం ఏం చేయలేం మేడం, కొంతవరకు జరుగుతుంది.
That is different. That is
జరుగుతుంది మేడం.
employee misguiding here. You are right.
Role of rural communicator here, rural communicator to step in implementing schemes, right?
Yes.
Madam,
Yes, Nafisa.
one more skill is there related to agriculture. Like government have introduced on a skill program, National Skill Development Corporation, which facilitates the creation of large vocational training institutions for the rural people, which supports for the development of skill. They also provide fundings also, ma'am.
Yeah, this is also one of the
And fostering
example.
partnerships with private sector companies. And also their focus is the sectors such as constructions areas or agriculture, textile, manufacturing. Overall, they will just provide the financial borders for the rural people so that they can improve skills also, and also they will grow financially. So this is the National Skill Development Corporation,
a
NSDC.
very good example of skill development programs. Then see, not only the government or the government officials, the researchers, here, the companies, corporate companies, NGOs can also step in, right? NGOs,
Yes,
non-government organizations, they can also play, vital role in rural development.
Yes, ma'am.
How? Any idea?
RDD, రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ సొసైటీ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా అని రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ సొసైటీ అని ఆర్డిఎస్ అని ఉంటుంది మేడం. ఇట్ ఈస్ లొకేటెడ్ అన్ అనంతపూర్ డిస్ట్రిక్ట్. ఆ సంస్థ చాలా బాగా రూరల్ ప్రాంతాల అభివృద్ధికి, వాళ్ళ గృహ వస్తువులు కల్పనకు, రోడ్లు మౌలిక సదుపాయాల కల్పనకు, ఉపాధి కల్పనకు చాలా బాగా కార్యక్రమాలు నిర్వహిస్తాను మేడం. ఫారిన్ ఎయిడ్ నుంచి వస్తుంది మేడం దానికి డబ్బులు అంతా.
So these NGOs, what
అంటారు మేడం, రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ట్రైనింగ్ అని అనంతపూర్ జిల్లాలో ఉంది మేడం, ఏపీలో. అది ఎక్కువ వాళ్ళ అక్కడ, అది అనంతపూర్ జిల్లా బాగా వెనుకబడిన జిల్లా అన్న ఉద్దేశంతో వాళ్ళు అక్కడ పెట్టారు. అట్లా చాలా సొసైటీలు, చాలా స్వచ్ఛంద సంస్థలు కొన్ని రన్ చేస్తున్నాయి మేడం. అయితే తిరుపతి ప్రాంతంలో, చిత్తూరులో అయితే RSS అని రాయలసీమ రాష్ట్రీయ స్వయం సేవక సంఘం అనుకుంటా మేడం, రాస్ అంటారు మేడం, RSS అంటారు, అదొకటి నిర్వహిస్తుంది. తెలంగాణలో అట్లా నాకు పెద్ద ఐడియా లేదు.
Okay. So NGOs?
ఎన్జిఓస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా మేడం. అంటే ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని ప్రాంతాల నుంచి మైగ్రేషన్ ని, మరి మహిళల ఉమెన్ ట్రాకింగ్ తగ్గించడం కోసం ఉపాధి కల్పనకు శిక్షణ ఇస్తూ కొన్ని కార్యక్రమాలు నిర్వహిస్తున్నాయి మేడం. అయితే ఎన్జిఓస్ పాత్ర ఇంకా కొంత పెరగాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది మేడం వాస్తవంగా. అలాగే కంపెనీలు కూడా కార్పొరేట్ సోషల్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ కింద గ్రామీణ ప్రాంతాలకు కొంచెం ఫోకస్ పెడితే బాగుంటది. కానీ ఈ సంస్థలు కూడా CSR కింద రూరల్ ను పట్టించుకోవట్లేదు మేడం. ఎక్కువ అర్బన్ లో వాళ్ళకి కావాల్సిన కార్యక్రమాలు,
few villages, and they take care of basic health care, education facilities, right? Companies,
Yes.
corporate
Yes.
entities.
అవును.
These NGOs also, what they do is they focus on empowering marginalized communities, right?
Yes, yes.
What they do is they improve the livelihoods of people, and they also promote their growth. And what they do is they like same concept of CSR as the corporate companies do. They adopt villages, right? And in rural areas, the remote areas where access to basic services and resources is limited, these NGOs or companies, they step in to fill the gaps and to bring change, right?
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
So there are many examples of NGOs, as you discussed also.
Yes.
And not only
correct.
NGOs, madam, many of the Tollywood personalities also adopted many of the villages. They will take care of this financial crisis of or whatever the difficulties are there. They will just take care of, and they have adopted so many villages. Example, we can take Mahesh Babu, a Tollywood actor who has already adopted many of the villages. 2 or 3, something like that. I just heard somewhere.
Okay, so what is the basic objective in adopting all these villages is, first basic hurdle is poverty, right?
Development only.
Yes.
Poverty alleviation. First thing. So what they do is they adopt the villages and they try to alleviate the poverty, right? For economic
Yes.
empowerment of the people by providing basic facilities. So what they do is they implement programs that create income generating opportunities for rural people, right? As Nafisa told about the program, skill development training, vocational training. What they do is they provide the available resources, right? Whatever resources is required, these NGOs or so-called companies, corporate companies, they step in, they provide the resources. And they enable rural people or individuals to become self-sufficient, economically self-sufficient, right? Why it is important to become economically self-sufficient?
ఆటోమేటిక్ సోషల్ గా డెవలప్ అవుతారు మేడం. ఎకనామిక్లీ సెల్ఫ్ సఫిషియెంట్ అయినప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఇతర అన్ని విధాల అభివృద్ధి చెందడానికి ఆస్కారం ఉంటుంది.
To break this cycle of poverty, which is the main issue. Poverty is the main issue, right? Main hurdle. So in order to break this cycle of poverty, they have to be self-sufficient, economically self-sufficient. So they provide training, and in order to, overcome those hurdles, they have to be properly trained, self-sufficient.
Ma'am, they are
So-
acting as a stage also where the rural people are like allowed to showcase their skills. So this is only the opportunity they have. They can link with this government agencies or something to showcase their talent and skills.
not only providing the basic skills and resources or generating income opportunities, we also have to focus more on sustainable agricultural practices. Why? Because agriculture is the main occupation, right?
And also the increasing demand of agricultural thing, ma'am. Over demanding of the goods and service and less time of growth. So in order to implement in the technical like various type of
Modern farming techniques, organic
so in
farming
order to meet the
techniques,
demands also, they will have to involve the rural people to get the good results.
yeah. And also they can enhance the agricultural productivity by all these farming techniques. Water conservation also, this is also one of the important aspect in farming. So NGOs or companies, whoever adopt these villages, they have to ensure a steady supply of all these facilities, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then next is after poverty, then promoting the agricultural activities. Then another aspect, important aspect is education, right?
Yes.
It means you have to improve the access to quality education first. You have to establish schools, learning centers, or right, educational centers where every people in the rural community should have equal access to participate and learn. Then next would be healthcare. Health clinics can be established, right? Medical facilities. What else can be done in healthcare? Camps.
Health camps, madam. Health camps.
Camps and awareness of the oral cavity, like acceptance of the various type of specialists like dermatologists, dentists, something like that to get awareness for the rural people in case of health.
Okay, focusing on particular specialized area.
Yes, especially gynec problem or oral cavity problems, like something like these people will suffer, but they will not show with this kind of efforts. They have to
Creating awareness for health. Yeah.
So
healthy living. Yeah, in order to empowering the rural residents to lead healthier life, right? Fulfilling lives. Then next would be
industrialization.
no
Infrastructure.
Yeah. What infrastructure? Basic infrastructure like
Roads, buildings,
Yeah.
and water supplies, like that, development contents.
Education.
Proper connectivity.
Free education.
Not only road, water supply, buildings, infrastructure. Suppose if you are establishing a school, just establishing a school is not enough, right? Basic infrastructure facilities, what do you require there?
Madam, इससे vocational training centers like टेलरिंग और बीड़ी कार्मिकों या फिर दूसरे टाइप्स के रहते हैं ना, वो भी ट्रेनिंग देके उनको जॉब देते हैं या फिर उनको उसमें पैसे देने, उनको काम सिखाना.
So for that you require
any Ma'am,
equipment.
for any growth, like if we set up for education also, we have to plan in that way. Faculty also should be good to teach that type quality of education there. Only build up of school is not enough. Only build up of hospital is not enough. The
Yes.
faculty who is working is also good so that they can justify their profession.
Yeah. Equipments, machinery, manpower. Any other thing in infrastructure development? Something there.
Pre-training skills.
Infrastructure.
ओके इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में क्या मैडम
वही क्या मिसिंग है? Think about it. You told we discussed roads, water
हाँ
supply, proper connectivity, in then manpower,
मैडम ये
machinery.
डबल बेड हाउसेस
Madam,
No.
infrastructure means we can also talk about road and highways, bridges, the small roads
Yeah.
also, and
Canals,
public
Yes.
transportation,
madam,
easy conveying
madam
of
canals
these
also
the
agriculture
services.
के लिए
We talk about water
Communi-
supply also, irrigation,
Establishing
sanitation.
authority is not enough, right? You have to mobilize people here, right? To
Ma'am,
use
here
all-
communication also we have to see communication infrastructure like
मैडम
telecommunication or
कम्युनिकेशन मैं
postal
बोला
service.
मैडम जी कम्युनिकेशन मैं बोला मैडम
हाँ बोले credit goes to that person only, ma'am.
हाँ
Yeah,
वही
not
बोल
at
रहा
all
हूँ
taking any credit.
हाँ आपको नको लो आपको कौन सा भी क्रेडिट
Okay,
Healthcare
silence, both of you.
infrastructure also,
से आराम से
primary health center and hospital
Mobility.
clinics.
What is mobility? What is mobility?
नोबिलिटी बोलते क्या मैडम
Mobility. MOBILITY. Mobility.
विथ क्या मैडम
I am asking you, what is mobility?
mobility, ability to move freely.
So wait, just providing infrastructure is not enough, right? You have to mobilize people. So what is mobilizing people? What do you mean by that? What is mobility?
Transportation.
like
Ma'am, it
every
refers to
You
the
have to make sure that people utilize all these facilities. You have to mobilize people
effective
Free
mobility
bus
can be
by
crucial, ma'am,
communication.
for enhancing economic opportunities. That whatever service we are providing, that access should be there on the services.
Yeah. That means you have to convince
Access,
people, mobilize people.
convince the rural people to access that services like
Yeah.
mobile or whatever metro services, something like that.
Hmm.
They have to learn first, then only they can access.
गाँव में मेट्रो कहाँ से आ गया मैडम
Example there, मैं
गांव में अभी सिटी में मेट्रो कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ गांव में कहाँ से आता अभी सही तरीके से वो लोग को बस भी नहीं है ट्रेन भी नहीं है अभी मेट्रो कहाँ से चल जाएंगे वो लोग को
Okay, next important issue is after dealing with all these things, poverty, education, healthcare,
मैडम
infrastructure.
जी सही तरीके से वो लोग को बुक्स भी नहीं मिलते मैडम जी गांव के जो बच्चों को जो है ना मैडम जी सही तरीके से पढ़ने के लिए भी बुक्स भी नहीं मिलते मैडम वो लोग को फ्री एजुकेशन रहता है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से मगर सही तरीके से टेक्स्ट बुक्स या फिर उनको नोटबुक्स भी सही तरीके से नहीं मिलते इसके लिए बल्कि वो लोग पढ़ने के लिए पीछे हट जाते मैडम जी वो लोग
वही इसमें मशीनरी और इक्विपमेंट्स और उसमें it will come resources, providing adequate resources that comes in infrastructure itself.
हेलो मैडम जी
Yeah, Amjad.
हाँ मैडम सही तरीके से पढ़े नहीं हो तो वो लोग कहाँ पढ़ेंगे कहाँ से मैडम
That's what we have to provide all the resources. Okay. After that, after providing all those resources, what is the next issue? Main.
मनी घर चलना बोले तो पैसा होना पड़ता ना मैडम जी जब वो लोग को इनकम ही नहीं रहा तो वो लोग
I
कहाँ से
told
पढ़ने
you the thought process in rural areas is conventional. What do you mean by that? There is
कन्वेंशन बोलते
gender
मैडम
inequality there. orthodox. What do you mean by gender inequality?
Okay.
They will only raise the questions related to the rights of the males comparison with the female, and they will not entertain the education in terms of females also. Awareness में कोई जाने न देते, something like that. वो programs involve नहीं करते awareness में. Inequality in the gender.
So here comes the role of women empowerment and creating awareness on gender equality. That means women should also get equal opportunity to take decisions.
Yes, madam.
So what we can do to create gender equality or women empowerment?
Again, campaigning,
Yeah,
puppetry, road shows, stage shows.
And movie also, madam. Movies में भी दिखा सकते हैं अपन उनको. Movies के वजह से
Theater plays, we can also give messages.
First, we have to make sure that.
मैडम और क्या ये भी मैडम बच्चों को अच्छे पढ़ने वालों को जैसे कि फ्री किट्स देते हैं, यानी कि वो लैपटॉप या फिर साइकिल या फिर बुक्स बैग्स ऐसे देते हैं ना मैडम, उसकी वजह से भी पढ़ते वो लोग.
Madam, for women empowerment, first we have to give a liberty or to make their own choice.
We have to provide them freedom.
Yes.
Freedom, liberty.
Ma'am, expression of ideology also come under this type of category.
It comes under thought process. But
freedom of speech.
How to bridge this gap of gender inequality? How to promote gender equality? Any example?
Madam ji, आजकल
awareness programs, campaigns, right? Workshops, training sessions. Okay, but how do you do that? How do you make them change their thought process? As you know, head of the family is the decision maker. So for sure there is gender inequality there. How do you?
क्या मैडम जी मैं समझा.
How do you overcome?
मैं समझा नहीं मैडम.
जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी कैसा ब्रिज करते गैप, जेंडर इक्वालिटी कैसा प्रमोट करते?
जब उनको अच्छा पढ़ाएंगे तो अगर पढ़ने वाले अच्छे जन रहे तो चाहे वो कोई भी रहो मैडम, उनको अच्छा पढ़ाते ना.
It doesn't, no thought process change नहीं होता.
No ma'am, for education and also with education awareness also comes now. So first we have to focus on education. Again community awareness will be there, programs. Economic empowerment also should be there, so that के equality है, support होना उन लोगों को. Example we can give property rights, equal distribution of property among boy and girl child, something like that. We can take small initiations.
Promote work-life balance and give power value to women's work first.
We have to, as Ahmed said, we have to give them liberty, freedom.
हम लोग भी बोले ना मैडम, फ्रीडम के लिए.
Decisions. Women should be allowed to take decision. This thought process should have to change. Women should be allowed to take decisions. You understood what I'm talking about, Amjad? Women should be allowed to take decisions.
बोले तो मैडम.
बोले तो घर में उनकी भी सुनना बोल रहे.
Okay. Next. Community development.
particularly community, particularly religions में वो लोग कोई अगर किसी के साथ एक हादसा या फिर कुछ भी अगर हो गया, उन्हें पढ़ के अगर कुछ
Villages people are
वो लोग
divided on various basis, right? Still, there are some issues. They are divided on the basis of caste, right?
यस मैडम,
There are
हमारे क्या
marginalized community. What
हमारे
do you mean
पास
by
नहीं
marginalized community?
हाँ मैडम,
Marginalized community.
पर्टिकुलरली एक कम्युनिटी के लिए वो लोग उनके उसमें रहता है ना मैडम, हर एक किसमें है मैडम, हर एक की कम्युनिटी में है कि हम लोग इनको नहीं पढ़ाते, हम बच्चों को यहाँ तक ही पढ़ाते, हम बच्चों को वहां नहीं फिरने देते, ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ाते, ऐसी चीजें चलते हैं ना मैडम, हर एक
What do you
Marginalized
mean by
community,
marginalized community, Amjad?
हाँ मैडम,
group of peoples who are experienced culture regarding the social and political, economical aspects of society.
Yeah, who
Experienced
are
persons.
discriminated. Marginalized society means people, particular caste being discriminated. Earlier, they were untouchables, right? Particular caste,
यस
they
यस
are
मैडम,
discriminated based on their caste, right?
यस
They
मैडम,
are from participating in any kind of development process, decision-making process. I'm talking about caste community. So those people who are excluded all these rights, those are discriminated, are known as marginalized communities.
Example, we can take Dalit na, madam. Lower class,
Yes,
like that.
based on class, caste, creed.
Mm.
So,
They are
for-
not involved, they are excluded from mainstreams like economic, political, and cultural life.
Yes, earlier we discussed about community
Maybe
radio, right?
depends on various
Community
factors like
radio, so
race.
we're talking about empowering
religion.
communities.
कम्युनिटी रेडियो,
Yes. So why in that particular topic we were discussing, right? Empowering communities. Why was community radio established?
To raise the
90s,
voice of
The
marginalized
voice of
community.
the voiceless, right?
यस, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट,
Not only women, any community can include
Community.
anybody. Farmers,
Yes,
women, men, children.
health,
Community is a
education,
common interest. So, see, in order to be a developed community, first thing is you have to include or you have to promote the participation of this marginalized community in decision making process or this development initiatives. They have to be included. Mostly they have to be included in the decision making process at the panchayat level or at the village level, local, to support the local initiatives.
पंचायत वाले भी ज्यादा पढ़ने नहीं देते मैडम,
So that you have to step in as a rural communicator and address those issues.
किसको पढ़ने न देते मैडम?
ज्यादातर बच्चियों को ज्यादा पढ़ने नहीं देते, पढ़ लिख के गए तो कुछ भी हो जाएगा, कहीं को नहीं पढ़ना, वो ये बोल के वो लोग को पहले बचपन में ही वो लोग को पढ़ाई रोक देते हैं, जल्दी शादी करा देते हैं वो लोग को, बच्चे को है तो बहुत दूर तक पढ़ाते हैं।
So,
मैडम जी,
yes, Amjad.
नहीं वही आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही मैडम, और टाइम भी हो रहा मैडम।
NGOs, we have more 5 minutes, Amjad.
एक्स्ट्रा
still
15 मिनट मैडम,
5 minutes more.
ओके मैडम, मगर आप पेज नंबर नहीं बोले मैडम।
ये ओवरऑल दिख रहा मेरे को, जस्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन, आई थिंक सो मैडम, नॉट गोइंग बाय लाइन नहीं,
There is no time for line by line. I have only
वही
3.
पेज नंबर पूछ रहे ना, तो मैं वही समझा रही हूँ कि जस्ट नॉलेज दे रहे शायद कॉन्सेप्ट। Yes, you are saving. Like, ma'am, you are speaking about something like community ना, कुछ topic बोल रहे थे आप।
You have to make sure that marginalized community are included in the decision-making process for rural development, for the development of rural areas, overall development. They cannot be left behind, right? They cannot be discarded. They have to be included in the decision-making process.
Nowadays they will say कि हम लोग equality कर रहे बोल के, but wordly they are saying, but they are not accepting, ma'am. Many of the societies members, they will not accept it. बोलते हैं लेकिन equality देते नहीं, means something like. तो वो ideology और change होने की जरूरत है.
So here is where the NGOs or the corporate companies can step in and work on all these areas which we discussed, right? To uplift this marginalized communities, to promote education, create opportunities, right? Employment opportunities, to alleviate poverty. So this way we can stop the mass migration of people, migrating from rural areas to urban areas in search of greener pastures. That means better opportunities. If we have opportunities in our, in the surroundings, why do people want to migrate, leaving their families? So first thing is you have to stop the mass migration of rural people to urban areas. So here you can take the help of NGOs, corporate companies, government, right? Only government cannot come and help. You have to act as a bridge between the government and the people, rural communicator. Okay, clear?
Okay. So we only the persons who have to identify the problem and have to inform to government and can aware.
Right? We have to. Any doubts?
So journalist plays a rural communicator also.
Yes, madam, I have more doubts, madam.
Madam, I was asking about journalist is also playing the role of rural.
Madam, Nazia also doubts,
That's
madam.
why we
Nazia
are-
को भी doubt है, madam.
That's why we are studying rural communication as a subject, because we have to step in as a rural communicator there. It's a role
Nazia,
of-
ask to you.
So
you
we
also.
need to involve for the rural.
Yes.
We have to stand by
For
them.
the overall development of the community, you have to step in as a rural communicator. The journalist has to step in.
Ma'am,
And see to it that-
time up कर रहे हैं. Generalists, present generalists are doing that practices.
Yes,
I am
people
saying
are.
generally. I'm asking.
Yes, people are working. Extensive
they'll
research
get
is
any-
going on. People are
they'll
working.
get
They're
any-
appointed as. Yes,
No, they'll
they're
get some any financial support also for that, or for free of cost.
they'll be getting
That's
support
what
from the government. They'll be getting a full-fledged salary. Have you
Okay,
heard
okay.
about extension officers?
No. Which
These rural
officer?
communicators are extension officers.
Okay, okay.
Madam,
These are
time हो गया, madam. Extra time ले रहे हैं, madam आप?
No, I'm done.
Done बोलते madam?
टाइम हो गया तो वहां से ऑटोमेटिक होस्ट के पास से बंद हो जाता है अमजद. डिस्कशन
I am
चल रहा
the
चलने
host. Now I can end the
नहीं,
meeting.
नाजिया को भी डाउट्स है बोले थे उन्होंने. जब से मैसेजेस कर रहे हैं मेरे को पूछ रहे हैं उन्होंने. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
Anybody, any doubts?
हाँ, नाजिया मैडम.
Shiva.
हाँ, इसी नाम पूछो मैडम, वो लोग बोलते हो.
No, madam.
Clear?
Yes, madam.
Yes, clear, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we end the class or any other discussion?
Continue, madam.
Madam, whatever topic you dealt in the offline class, that is the recapitulation, or you have taken fresh topics?
This is new topic.
So we can expect new topic again in the next class, right?
हाँ मैडम, पेज नंबर्स और बोल दीजिए मैडम अभी से।
Page
Ma'am,
number you
first,
have to search, Amjad. No spoon feeding. We don't have time. Only 3 classes left.
एक्स्ट्रा क्लासेस नहीं लेते मैडम आप?
Only 3 classes.
ओके ओके।
Have next on 8th, 14th and 15th, right?
नहीं 16th, नहीं 16th नहीं, 8th 14 15। ओके ओके मैडम। मैडम ये आप पीपीटी बना रहे हैं ना मैडम नेक्स्ट क्लास के लिए?
Does anybody want PPT except Amjad?
No need, madam.
madam, this interaction is very good, ma'am. Everybody is involving now. Very interactive class.
Maybe interaction, Amjad. If you want, I can prepare, but it will be only one-way interaction.
नहीं मैडम, पीपीटी रहे हैं तो अच्छा रहता मैडम। जैसे रामास्वामी सर, सुनील सर, ये लोग ऑन करके बोलते हैं ना, अच्छा समझ में आता है। जैसे कि समीर सर पीपीटी में भी और वीडियो ऑन करके भी बोलते हैं ना, अच्छा रहता, अच्छा दिखता।
Okay, you inform Sunil sir if he says, then okay.
यस मैडम, आई विल इन्फॉर्म मैडम सुनील सर।
Okay.
मैडम नेक्स्ट यूनिट कौन सा यूनिट है मैडम नेक्स्ट क्लास में?
I don't know Amjad. I have to. Next week देखेंगे. You just be prepared with all these topics which we have already dealt.
ओके ओके मैडम। ओके, थैंक यू मैडम। थैंक यू मैडम। ये मैडम 2 मिनट हो गए मैडम एक्स्ट्रा।
Thank you, madam.
Shall we end?
Yes, ma'am. We
हाँ
can.
यस मैडम, कंटिन्यू मैडम, कंटिन्यू।
Okay, bye.
बाय मैडम।